Silence your mind, shut down the internal dialogue, do it consciously and intentionally. It is not easy. It is very, very difficult. It is a practice, and one we practice every day, but it is essential for our growth. And anything that is worth doing that elevates us to those sorts of levels is never going to be easy. This podcast is called Reconditioned because this is the place where you'll learn how to truly recondition your entire life. Where other wellness podcasts or platforms focus on one particular area of wellness or inner growth, Reconditioned is a one-stop shop for all of it, so that you can get all the information you need to heal and up-level the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of your life in one place. Because that's what I needed when I was healing from the arthritis I had from the age of 2 that left me disabled by 18. I got myself to a place of complete wellness after a very long journey of immersion into the world of healing, where I learned how to heal the whole self. My purpose now is about bringing that to you, and my Rise membership is an extension of that. For women who want to take their wellness and growth to the next level, there really is nothing out there like it. You'll be part of a global community of like-minded women with access to 14 modules that literally take you through everything you ever need to learn in order to bring your life to a place of balance and abundance. With group coaching calls with me, personalized support, community book club, and so much more. Rise becomes part of your life, your lifestyle, enabling you to thrive in the ways you always dreamed, with me right there beside you, championing you through your journey. It's not always open for enrollment, so if you're hearing this now, it's open and ready for you to enroll. Just go to the show notes for the link or visit laurenvakneen.co.uk/rise. Hi everyone, so happy to be back for another episode of Rise on the Reconditioned podcast with me, Lauren Vakneen. If you enjoy these episodes, please let me know. Subscribe to the podcast, leave a lovely review, why don't you? It really helps push the podcast out to more people who will see it and then benefit from the content. So please go ahead and do that. And before we get started, I'm just going to read out a little testimonial from one of my Rise members, because why not? You guys are here to optimize your lives, so let's hear how others are doing this. So this is from Jay, and she says this: I originally heard about your course on the Recondition podcast, which is so informative and I've learned so much from. I just wanted to say thank you. At that point in my life, I felt very lost and felt the way we lived wasn't working for me. And you opened my eyes to optimizing health and spiritual and other avenues, and I'm forever grateful. So as you probably know by now, if you are ready to up-level your life and want to come and join my beautiful community of women from all over the world doing the same, you can enroll at laurenvakneen.co.uk/rise, and I will support you on your continued wellness journey. Fun fact, humans take in more information in one day now than they did in their entire lives in the 1700s. No wonder we're overwhelmed. Our brains and bodies simply haven't evolved to manage this level of stress. And until that evolution happens, if we want to be well in mind and body, we need things that help alleviate this stress. For me, one of the key tools in my daily wellness toolkit that does this is the Sensate. And if you've been here a while, you'll know how genuinely obsessed I am with this product. It is a piece of health tech that fits in the palm of your hand, and it basically sends infrasonic waves through the chest to activate the vagus nerve and calm the autonomic nervous system while you listen to the specially composed audio within the app. I usually use the Sensate for 10 to 20 minutes before I sleep to reduce cortisol levels, calm my brainwave states from the hectic day, and send me into a deep sleep. Clients or friends of mine who have a Sensate have told me that their sleep has never been so good. People who usually struggle with sleep just wake up in the same position they went to sleep in. Everyone needs a Sensate, in my opinion, and I particularly recommend it to anyone who suffers from overwhelm or anxiety and anyone who wants to deepen their meditation practice. And you can get £30 off the Sensate by visiting getsensate.com and using code Lauren30. That's GETSENSATE.com, Lauren30. Thank you so much to Sensate for supporting our mission here at Reconditioned. Okay, today I have got something truly beautiful in store for you. So as my seasoned listeners will know, I have been on a shamanic apprenticeship with a very powerful Toltec shaman for 3.5 years now. And in that time, my life has changed in ways it is honestly hard to describe. And I just thought a lovely idea would be to share with you some of the most profound lessons from this time, because a lot of you are here for your spiritual conscious evolution as well, right? So now, there's a lot of stuff we're not allowed to share from the work we do. And those of us who work with Don Xavier talk a lot to each other because the work is so profound, and what we learn and our practices and our ceremonies are so profound. They're completely mind-blowing, actually. But I want to share with you not necessarily the practices we're taught or what happens in our ceremonies or the dream time work or anything like that, but the lessons I've learned as a result of this work that have helped me to navigate life differently, like more successfully, more peacefully. Because that's what we all want at the end of the day, isn't it? We want peace. Okay, so here goes. Number 1, first lesson is if you want to be happy, first be happy. Could there be anything more simple yet more profound? We literally have a choice every day. Regardless of what's going on externally, we have a choice in how we deal with it, in how we feel about it, in how we show up in the world because of it. We literally have a choice. Isn't that liberating to know? I find it so liberating. It's like, oh, I don't have to feel like that. Okay, great. I can feel good. You can literally choose to not be miserable. You can choose to be happy and to live in joy regardless of anything that's going on externally. I just find this so liberating. And the secret is that we attract what we put out, right? So I know you've heard this from multiple manifestation influencers on Instagram, but genuinely, like if you go and study quantum mechanics, you'll see just how true this is. Whichever vibrational frequency we are operating at is the one we're resonant with. So if we operate from a place of victimhood, why me, unhappiness, focusing on what's going wrong, you call in more of what's going wrong. Now, if you could see energy, like truly see energy, which sorcerers like Don Xavier can, you would literally be like, whoa, dude, why the hell wasn't I doing this earlier? Of course it makes sense now. If I put this energy out, I'm going to get more back of this because energy is like for like. We are magnets. But if I put out more of that, I'll get more back of that. Like it's simple quantum physics. The point is, regardless of what might come back to you, because another lesson is don't ever do anything because you think it will get you something. Do it from a place of integrity. You can choose to be happy. So if you want to be happy, be happy. And yeah, like maybe there are some lifestyle changes you need to make to support your brain in being able to do this, because from a health optimization perspective, if you're eating foods that don't support your mood and drinking alcohol and doing a whole bunch of other stuff that doesn't support the mechanics and physiology of the human body, you'll have to deal with the natural consequences of that. And if you want it to change, then you have to change. Another reminder that everything requires a holistic, whole person approach. I can sit here and preach all the spiritual stuff, but we chose to incarnate here into human bodies, into form. And that comes with its own set of rules, right? It's its own set of rules happening because of that we really need to abide by. And one of those is to look after this vessel that we are incarnating in at the moment. When the body isn't looked after, it vibrates a low energetic frequency, making it much harder for you to get yourself to those states of happiness or even bliss. So it's up to you. It's all up to you. Number 2 is be simple and natural. I love this lesson. I heard Don Xavier say this a few months ago and I just loved it. Like you'll have your own interpretation of it, but for me, it's just about not trying to create something that isn't natural in you, not trying to strive for anything other than what you need. Not that you won't get more, but stop striving, stop desperation. Just be. Be simple and natural. Just exist in the world with gratitude for whatever is, and stop trying to create yourself into being something you're not. One of the holistic living challenges I spent years researching and trying to figure out was how to keep teeth healthy without fluoride and which fluoride-free natural toothpaste to use. I've found a few over the years that I've liked, but I finally found a brand that does a toothpaste that me and my husband love, and a kids one that not only has all the perfect ingredients to keep their teeth and gums healthy naturally, but that they love. The toothpastes are by Wellness, which is the brand created by Katie Wells, aka Wellness Mama, who we love here at Reconditioned. I'm such a fan of these toothpastes and I would love you to give them a go. And no, they're not as cheap as Colgate, and for good reason. But you can get 10% off by visiting health.com/LaurenV10. That's health with an F, health.com/LaurenV10. And that will apply a 10% discount to anything in your basket, not just wellness products. Please report back to me and let me know how you find these toothpastes. Number 3, live intensively your present. So I have one of those brains that works at 100 miles an hour. Daniel has this game with me where every so often, if we're walking or just doing anything where we're silent for more than a few seconds, he'll go, "What are you thinking about?" And my answers usually go something like this. I'm just wondering who initiated the idea of cloud seeding, whether they're trying to get us sick or if there's something even deeper behind this. And is Bill Gates trying to block the sun? And why isn't it happening in Africa? And I wonder how much the pilots are being paid to do it and stay silent. At which point Daniel goes, "Whoa, how on earth did you get to that between us speaking about the kids' after school activities and 10 seconds later?" Anyway, that's how my brain works most of the time. So I'm always creating something in my brain, always. And I like to see it like that. It's creation. I have a brain that likes to create. And I refuse to call this ADHD or fall victim to any labels that remove our sovereignty and make us believe our brains are defective. I have high cognitive function, partly because that's natural for me, partly because I look after my brain a lot through food and supplements, and partly because I've worked over the past 20 years to increase my neuroplasticity. We also have to take into account that our very busy lives and all the doing expected of us and all the information we're exposed to daily is stressing our nervous systems and our brains, which haven't yet evolved to be able to manage this. So I'm going really off script here, but just to explain why I don't agree with these labels in 95% of the cases. It just takes away the sovereignty of what our brains are capable of and how we can work to heal them as well. Anyway, the point of me telling you this is so you don't feel that it must be easy for me to live intensively my present, which is what people usually assume. It's not. I have to work at it every second. And I do work to regulate my nervous system and shut off my internal dialogue and create peace. And being reminded of the importance of this is integral to my well-being and my spiritual growth. There is no spiritual growth when I'm considering geoengineering instead of being grounded into the present moment. So I give myself reminders to be present in whatever I'm doing. All right, live intensively your present. There's no past to regret, no future to worry about, just the now moment. And the future that you're worrying about, those things usually have a better outcome when your vibration is higher because you're living in the present. So it's kind of like a domino effect. A lovely quote by Buddha about being present. Suffering comes from a person's failure to accept change. The end of suffering can only come by being here in the present moment. I love that. So number 4, erase your personal history and that which you perceive to be trauma. Now, I understand that this might be triggering for some of you, but hear me out. We hold on to our traumas and our emotional baggage like it's part of us, and it comes to define us. We hold on to them and we make it part of our identity and our story, and then guess what? It becomes part of your identity. It becomes you. It then creates blocks around our cosmic growth because we fall into those dense frequencies that these experiences bring. But the truth is, it's not the experiences that bring that. Every human on the planet has trauma. what we perceive to be negative experiences. As spirits who chose to incarnate here, as hard as it might be for our human selves to accept, we chose that. We chose that for our growth. But that growth is hindered when we fall into the victim consciousness of it. So it's not the experiences themselves, it's how we allow ourselves to respond to those experiences. The experiences don't cause the stress. Our reactions to it do. So I wrote this quote down once, have no idea who said it, so apologies. I read out everything. I write down everything I see that I like or that can inspire me. So here it goes. Human discontentment is a simple case of mistaken identity. We're miserable because we think that we are mere individuals, alone with our fears and flaws and resentments and mortality. We wrongly believe that our limited little egos constitute our whole entire nature. We have failed to recognize our deeper divine character. We don't realize that somewhere within us all, there does exist a supreme self who is eternally at peace. That supreme self is our true identity, universal and divine. Before you realize this truth, you will always be in despair. So yeah, I don't know where I heard that, so apologies, but I loved it. So all that just to say, it's so important that we find ways to move on from our emotional challenges. So yes, we have to process them, but that's why I'm such a big fan of somatic healing, because you process it through and out the body. And once it's out, you say, okay, that's done. That's done now. And you make a choice to move on. And that's pretty darn liberating. And I teach this on the Rise membership. Guys, we have an entire module dedicated to trauma. Another one dedicated to inner child, right? It's not like I'm telling you not to acknowledge or to ignore. It is the opposite of that. It's how can you acknowledge what's happened and heal it so fully that you let it be your past and you learn a spiritual practice so deep that you are truly able to let it be in the past and move on. Do you know how freaking powerful that makes you? And the liberation that comes with knowing that you can do that. And you know what else that extends to? Frustration or anger or sadness around things you can't change. So, for example, in the early days of COVID, my community were talking a lot about how frustrating it was that people weren't seeing the psyop that this thing was, and that they were getting sucked in by what was to us clearly an agenda, all manufactured to make us sicker and in deeper states of fear. And the same with the war in Israel right now. Many of you know, maybe some don't, that most of my family live in Israel, including my sister. It's really scary, hard times, like the whole package of what's going on because of it right now. But Don Xavier didn't let me wallow in it. He didn't let me have a moment to be in fear around it. Because like I said to my community during the COVID stuff, there are those who are scared of COVID itself, and you guys are looking at them like they've gone mad, but you're scared of all the things that might happen if everyone believes and goes ahead with this. So whichever side of that you're on the side of fear. And that lowers your vibration. And then you're not healing or serving the collective. You're adding to the fear vibration. We have to be on the side of love. So that went a little bit off topic, but I guess not really. The idea of erase your personal history is about not getting caught up in the dense frequencies of anything external, because you are more than that. Okay, number 5, choose the path with heart while knowing that all paths lead to nowhere. Oh, I love this one so much. And guys, you can see that all these lessons come with such simple guidance, right? Choose the path with heart. That's the guidance. Then you have to take that guidance and extend it to your own life and what it means for you and how you can let it help you to elevate on your conscious evolution. So choosing the path with heart, what does it mean? So essentially anything you do in life could be done in multiple different ways. Which is the path with heart? The true path, the one your intuition is telling you to follow. Ask yourself, your higher self, in each situation, which is the path with heart? And if you do that, it will help you to guide yourself through to truth each and every time. And it also applies to things that involve other people. To me, it always means just always do the right thing. Right? As DX calls it, showing up in integrity and with impeccability. Now, that doesn't mean not upholding my boundaries, but having a life's ethos of always do the right thing has been a really good practice to set me on a path of positive and intentional thought, action, and behavior, so that as much as possible, I'm behaving in a way that creates a positive ripple effect. So sorry to interrupt the episode, but this really is a public health service announcement. If you're trying to improve or optimize your health, you might be missing the crucial ingredient that most people don't realize they need. You see, it's not vitamin D you need to be supplementing. The mineral we are most lacking and need so much more of in order to be able to synthesize that vitamin D from the sun is copper. Without copper, which gives us retinol, we literally cannot absorb the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, and K. And the iron in our bodies is not distributed effectively because copper is what transports iron around the blood. So it's not that we're anemic, it's that we are low in copper. Without adequate absorption of all these minerals, your health can never be optimal. So many people I've worked with feel like they've tried everything and simply introducing Recuperate IQ, which is a very specific formulation of copper and other ingredients, improved their health within weeks. It's formulated by Morley Robbins, who created the root cause protocol that hundreds of thousands of people around the world have healed as a result of. I've personally been doing it for 8 years. This supplement is finally available in the UK after years of me trying to get hold of it, and you can now get it at yourhealthbasket.co.uk using code LaurenV10 for a 10% discount. That's yourhealthbasket.co.uk and code LaurenV10. So that leads really nicely into number 6, which is all your actions have a domino effect. And it's really important to remember this, and a great reminder that the butterfly effect is a real thing. Every choice you make will initiate a whole series of events within not just the world, but the universe. One thing you do or say could change the thoughts and actions of another person, which in turn changes the trajectory of that person and therefore the vibrational frequency of everything. All your actions have a domino effect, so be intentional in everything you do. Number 7, learn how to detach from the outcome of your desires. I have to say, this is probably the hardest lesson for me to date. Detachment generally is not an easy thing for humans. We attach from the moment we're conceived, and everything in our human lives leads us to attachment. We literally need to be attached emotionally to our caregivers to survive. And then there's a series of hormonal processes that happen that attach us to our own offspring so that we help them to survive. And then we're told that in order to go enhance our cosmic growth, we have to practice detachment. But learning how to detach from the outcome of situations is one of the most impactful things you can do. For your cosmic growth, yes, because that's really all that matters. But on a more material level, practicing this in, say, business or around money or career or anything we're manifesting, like a partner or a pregnancy or whatever it is, it's really what helps the whole process along. It's a case of setting the intention, knowing you are powerful enough to co-create that, but being able to surrender it out into the quantum field and give it the space it needs to come back to you. Right? Detaching from the outcome. I truly think it's one of my hardest lessons. I'm not sure I'll ever fully master it, but I will always be continuing to work on it because I might not have mastered it, but I understand its importance. Okay, number 8, work on silencing the mind and shutting down external dialogue. Literally, if you want to elevate your soul's consciousness, how do you think you're going to do that if every time you close your eyes into meditation, you're like, oh, we need this on the grocery list, and why didn't so-and-so call me back, and oh, I have to pay for Billy Bob's football club, and oh, why haven't I manifested my dreams yet? None of the stuff we want to manifest or get resolved gets resolved in that state. The brain has to be silenced so that the mind can present itself to you. Silence your mind, shut down the internal dialogue, do it consciously and intentionally. It is not easy. It is very, very difficult. It is a practice, and one we practice every day, but it is essential for our growth. And anything that is worth doing that elevates us to those sorts of levels is never going to be easy. All right, number 9, the warrior's path is not always the easiest one, but give gratitude for every moment of it. So Don Xavier talks about being on this path, and he calls it the warrior's path. So there are people living very detached lives who don't necessarily connect to self. And sometimes that looks way more appealing to me, right? It's much less work. I sometimes look at people and I'm like, oh, it must be so quiet in their brains. It must be really nice to not be worrying about the chemtrails and the fluoride in water and just kind of go along life without all those worries. And by the way, this is never judgment to those people. That's another lesson in itself, but we're all on different journeys. Our souls are all on different paths. Some have been around longer or less time, and none of that is our business to judge. The point is that sometimes life looks far more appealing like that than my constant shamanic deaths and dark nights of the soul. And that feeling that every time you've learnt one thing and feel at peace, something else comes by to slap you on the face, as if your spirit guides are there going, oh, you thought it was over. You're so funny. Let's throw another one at you. And that is really how it happens. So, but the point is, like, we're not here to run businesses or to build legacies. And we're not even here to raise our children. We didn't incarnate to do those things specifically. Those things are catalysts, vectors, to give us the experiences our souls need to elevate and learn more. But that's the reason we've incarnated, to grow. That's literally it. And as you know, anything worth doing is never easy. You have to get comfortable in your discomfort. There's no growth in comfort or stagnation. We know that. All the things you don't want to do, those are the things that essentially make us better or feel better, right? Like, I'd rather not wake up at 6 and do a workout, but doing it makes me feel better. And it would be nice to eat whatever we want whenever, but not doing that makes me healthier. You get the gist. So with a warrior's path, it's deeper than that, of course, but I think the idea is about pushing through discomfort, allowing it without judgment, and knowing that that path is going to maybe look harder from the outside than someone who's not on that path. But we've chosen it, and we've chosen it for very good reason. Number 10 is joy. Just live in joy. That's it, really. Like, whatever is happening, be in joy. Remember that fear is the lowest vibration next to shame. Anytime you're in fear around anything, your finances, the state of the world, your children's health, the toxins in the water, anything, it all lowers your vibration. And that has the domino ripple effect into the universe that we spoke about. The universe expands when you do. So if you live in joy, you on your own enhance and elevate the consciousness of the entire universe, because your heart's electromagnetic field literally emanates from you, like light rays emanate from the sun. If you could see your heart's electromagnetic field, you'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. I just need to be in a state of joy all the time. Got it. Like, that's how powerful you are. So can you make a commitment to live in joy? And leading on from that, the last lesson, number 11, is love, love, and love. That's all we're here for, to love, to be love, to realize we are love. Like, stop worrying, for goodness sakes, about what you look like or what you're going to wear tomorrow, or even what's going to happen with all the things in your life that don't seem to you to be good. Your only role on this planet is to be in love. So can you be in love? Okay, so those are, I would say, my biggest, most important lessons that I've learned from Don Xavier and implemented into my life. And I hope that in some small way I've inspired you to do the same, to be inspired by these lessons and implement them into your life in any way you can. Thank you for being here. I am grateful for you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Reconditioned. I am honestly so grateful to each and every person that tunes in. Thank you also for taking responsibility for your own well-being. You should know that just by choosing to listen to podcasts like this that further your well-being, you're moving more deeply into abundance consciousness. Now, don't forget, I have a bunch of free resources over at laurenvakneen.co.uk, as well as every recommendation you could ever need in regards to your well-being on the LV Recommends page, all categorized for your ease. Thank you also to our sponsors. These episodes would not be possible without them, so make sure to check them out and get some pretty awesome discounts on the show notes. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so that you can get updated each time a new one is released. Thank you. I appreciate you.